been a security guy right there, right on the spot, I probably would have said, yeah, lock her ass up, like arrest her. But it wouldn't have been a follow-up. I would not have went to court and filed charges and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't have went through all of that. Because I feel like, I can handle myself pretty well. I can handle myself pretty well. I'd never be like a Terry Crews type of dude. Ain't nobody gonna do me like that. Like this dude he allowed a dude to grab him by the family jewels in front of his woman. See, that ain't gonna happen. Like, hey, you know what I'm talking about? That'll be the last time that somebody tried that with me. Now, you know, the fact that the fact that society oftentimes is more relaxed when men are victims of sexual assault, and more relaxed about punishing women who commit sexual assault. That's problematic. Even with the people who are victims, the males who are victims, the way that they respond to women who assault them, oftentimes that's problematic. Because that chick that did that to me, I'm sure she woke up and just with a smile on her face, like, hey, life is good. Like she ain't got no problem. Like it hadn't affected her at all. She good. And that's a problem because she gonna do that again. Like, and I'm wondering, like, if she did that to me, how many people have she's done that to in the past? Right? How many people has she done that to in the past? She's done it before. She's done it to me. How many people have she's done that to in the past? And I'm not just speaking of a celebrity, you know, she's a sexual predator. And I'm not, you know, being melodramatic. I'm not trying to be dramatic. But she was way too comfortable doing that. And she also said, she was like, excuse my French and pardon my vernacular, fam, but I need y'all to understand the gravity of this, of this situation, of the altercation, basically. But she said, I want to fuck you. I'm like, now, that ain't the first time I heard something.
Hi, you guys. So last night I was, on YouTube, of course, minding my business, and I was watching some videos, trying to see what everybody's talking about out here. So I see Willie D, and he put up this video saying that some woman, I think he went live, but I didn't see the video while he was live. I was like an hour later watching it. He said that a woman in a nightclub in Houston um, walked over to him and licked him on his neck or something. Um, and he said that he was in he said a hood club. I don't know what that is in Houston. I don't know. But he said he was kind of like in a regular club and he didn't have security and all that with him. And that that's not something he'd do all the time, but he just thought he'd go hang out or whatever. And so this lady came over to him and did this. And he was really upset about it. I mean, he goes on for about 40 minutes in this video. Um, then he said he said if the police was right there, he would have wanted the police to get involved in the situation. That's how violated he felt, I guess. Um, and so it just struck me as odd, the whole conversation, to be honest, because after he, he touched on a lot of things. He was kind of all over the place. He went into that, then he went into pay equality between the NBA and the WNBA. And he said that he's that type of guy about fairness where men and women are concerned. So I guess what he's trying to say, that if it's sexual assault for a woman or SA, because we can't say everything over here. If it's SA for a woman, then it should be that way for a man as well. And I agree. I mean, I don't agree, and I agree. People shouldn't be walking up to people, like putting their tongue on them and touching them and all that stuff. Anyway, even to take a picture, sometimes you'll see people go up to celebrities and they don't even ask them. They just go and stand in front of the person and just start flicking, right? It's just kind of, I get it. I absolutely get what he's saying and how people can get annoyed by people doing some of the things that they do when they see them. However, I think for me was just to stay on the whole part about the essay was striking me as odd as that, he is a rapper, number one, and he has been in that industry for a very long time. I would think a lot of things similar to that have already happened to him. That's what I would think. But then maybe in his more of his day, I'll call it that, maybe he did have security. I don't know. I don't think I've ever encountered the ghetto boys anywhere, when I was going out and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if he only went certain places, and maybe he only went to VIP areas where no one could really go near him. Anyway, I don't know. And I don't know the club scene and all that stuff in Houston. So I don't know where he was hanging out and all that stuff. But my thing was, I would imagine that women have been doing these type of things to him for a long time. That's what I think. I don't know this for sure. That's just what I think. So, but yeah, when I was reading about him, though, it kind of said he was married. So maybe he wasn't even going out like that. I don't know if he's still married or not. He didn't even say anything about anything like that. He was just going, talking about SA and how it's a double standard. Yeah, it is. But at the same time, he needs to also be very mindful. A lot of women, in particular black women, they do not report harassment. Let me say that again. A lot of stuff that, like something like that, like you do know how many times, especially the type of jobs that I've worked, people have touched me, that I didn't know at all. And I just feel like it's the same thing. Like if I wasn't calling the police, I think these things happen to a lot of us all the time, especially, like I said, depending on the type of work you do. Like if you are working in public service, you have to interact with people face to face. You are more than likely going to have some type of incident happen to you within that time of you working on those type of jobs, because you're going to be dealing with all these different personalities. If you're working in environments where people are drinking, right? So you have to be mindful of that as well. There's a lot of stuff people are not out here reporting either. I'm not saying that should take away from his feelings that he felt violated. I'm just saying, as he's saying, it's a double standard. Trust and believe, women are not reporting all the stuff they go through. Like, they're just not. And I think there's a lot of statistics out here that back up what I'm saying. And the other part of what he was saying made me think about Bow Wow, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, with him being a rapper, I would think a lot of these things have already gone on. And I also think there's maybe some of the women that would go after a Willie D probably think that Willie D's into all of that anyway, right? Because of the way these guys carry themselves in the media, right? And the way they carry themselves on social media, you would think that they like these type of women. So she may have been thinking that is what he would want a woman to do. And so is that part as well. And then I thought I'm gonna add the Bow Wow video in here because that just happened where he was tonguing those girls down, right? And then he kind of brought up the whole thing about pay equality. Like I said, he went into this whole thing about the NBA and WNBA, and then he started saying some things about maybe some of the women players probably has essayed other women in locker rooms and stuff like that. I was like, no, I think when it's man on man and when it's woman on woman, those are grounds for fighting. Like, those are grounds for fighting. Not to say that women don't do little slick stuff too, like try to bump into you and, all of a sudden they losing their balance and all this crazy stuff. Not to say that people don't do things like that, same sex type of harassment, but those are grounds for fighting. Like, if a woman mishandles you, and if you feel like that's what she's doing, depending on who you are and how you are, you could be in a fight with somebody, right? And I would imagine with men as well. I think that Terry Crews situation was something different because obviously he has a fear of the non-black community. He has a fear of that community, and he definitely has a fear in Hollywood. He wants to be accepted, and he don't want to rock the boat with those people. And so they understand that, and they will take advantage of people that walk around like that. Like, it is what it is. On that, I think that's kind of a separate situation. But because I think in any other situation, if a man touches another man inappropriately, they would be fighting as well, just like women would. So I don't know that I believe that when he was saying about the NBA players harassing each other. Now, there are always situations where people are attracted to people that are not attracted to them. And that's what I'm saying about the whole thing about rejection. All of that is a part of life, right? We have to learn to accept that people can be attracted to you and you not be attracted to them. You could be attracted to people that are not attracted to you. It is what it is. And, so yeah, people will say things or try to fill you out. Woman to woman, man to man, man to woman, woman to man. It's going to happen, and it happens. And I think that it's ways of handling these things. Now, and then of course there are those predators, right? That cross lines, and we hear those stories all the time where people can't handle rejection. They talk about they going to pop their trunk. Right? Remember the guy started shooting, right? Just because the girl didn't want to talk to them. So, I mean, it's all relative what he's saying, but at the same time, I don't think that is truly always the norm, that women are allowing other women to harass them like that. I do think that a fight will pop, and man to man as well. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And really quickly, the other part of what I was thinking about with this is, and people were even asking him in his comments if the woman was attractive. I think somebody was saying, was she a baddie or whatever? Because oftentimes, and I think O'Shea Duke Jackson had a couple of videos about that as well. He felt like women, if the man is attractive, they allow men to get away with more than if it's a man that's not attractive, right, to them, and they're not attracted to. And I think that's all the way around, though. For me to agree with anything O'Shea Duke Jackson is saying, trust me, I don't agree with much he says. But I do agree with that, and there are some writings that back up that conversation that is probably someone that he did not find attractive, or he felt like someone wasn't worthy to touch him, right, that was touching him. And so it could have been something like that as well, for him to feel like he wanted the police involved, for him to just go that far. Obviously he wasn't attracted to this person. And yeah, people were asking him that in the comments, and I was thinking that as well, like, okay, what did this lady look like? Because normally men don't respond like that, even if it's something like that, even if they touch them, I mean, because we see all these videos all the time where people are performing live, and you see women touching on the legs and touching private parts and behinds and all kind of stuff on these guys as they're performing. Um, and then some of these men go and walk out into the audience and go in and jump in the audience like Pleasure Pete during this versus battle. So obviously they don't have that much of a problem with it, right? And so that's what I mean. Like sometimes some of this stuff could be given mixed signals to these women anyway. That these guys may like this stuff, and then maybe that's why they're doing it. But yeah, I feel like he probably had a right to put his hand up or arm up and say, excuse me, or no, or whatever, however he would choose to say it. Because I don't even know how she got close enough to even do that in the first place. Or maybe he didn't think she was going to put her tongue on him, and so he allowed her into his space. But this is probably why you can't allow people in your space as well. Because he's not obligated to allow people to get all up on him like that. I'm sorry, especially with COVID and all this other stuff they claiming is out here. I feel like he kind of is within his right to say, I'm trying to keep some distance, right? Or, I'm out trying to enjoy myself. I really don't want to do the fan thing right now or whatever. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about if you guys saw his video, what you thought about what he had to say. And do you agree with O'Shea Duke Jackson that based on how attractive people are is how offended they will get by the person touching them? And like I said, I don't think people should be touching people. I'm not saying that, that gives somebody a right to touch them just because they are deemed attractive. But I do feel like sometimes people act a certain way if they're not attracted to the person or they don't deem the person attractive. Let me know what you guys think about that and what you think about what Willie had to say about double standards of harassment. And then that whole thing about the WNBA, the women in the locker room harassing other women. I was puzzled. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And if you want to watch his full conversation, his channel is Willie D, his name, here on YouTube. The video is about 40 minutes, and I'll see you guys in the next video.